Hey, good morning, everybody. I'm coming on today because I've been helping a bunch of people do their function tests, and rather than help every single person individually and have to put that time in every single time, I'm going to make a quick video on showing everybody how to do a function test the way that I do it to make sure that the vacuum and the freeze both work functionally. And this will be a resource for everybody moving forward. So I'm going to flip the camera around and get started. All right, so we're going to start with the machine off and switch it on real quick. So I'm assuming that I don't need to tell anybody how to remove their rack. Be careful when you're unplugging that you don't lose your little seal right there. Make sure you depress the little nub there. Make sure that it comes loose. I just set it on the counter. Put the black ring back in place so that there will be a seal. We're gonna go into the function menu. First thing I do is turn the freeze on. I'm gonna let this run for 15 minutes. What that's gonna do is give me an idea of what's going on inside the drum. Close this up. Any moisture that's in there is going to turn to ice, and then that way when we turn the vacuum pump on, we're not pulling moisture from the drum through the oil in the vacuum. I'm going to go ahead, make sure the vacuum drain valve is closed, and let this thing cool down. So I'm gonna, like I said, let this thing run for 15 minutes and we'll come back around then. A couple of things of note. This should always be in the open position rather than closed. And then on the back of the pump, there's a switch that we want to make sure is in the on position. So it's just located back here. Make sure that's up and on. And that'll be ready to go. Looks like we've got plenty of oil in here. So when this gets started, at the 15-minute mark, we'll go ahead and switch the vacuum on and go from there. All right, it looks like I got a little sidetracked and went over, no problem. But here's what I'm looking for. I'm looking to make sure that there's rings of ice developing inside the drum. That tells me that whatever moisture is in there is condensated on the metal of the drum and is now locked in situ because it's now ice rather than moisture in the atmosphere. So what I'm going to do is turn the vacuum on. I'm going to note the pressure at the moment, and then I'm going to let it run for 5 minutes, check it, 10 minutes, check it. It's going to run the entire time. I'm not going to turn it on or off, but I'm just going to note so that I can track the trend at 5 minutes, 10 minutes, and 15 minutes. So a thing of note on this is a 10 CFM pump rather than the 7 CFM pump that normally comes with a large. So I'm expecting a little bit faster performance from this. However, before I sold the large pump or the 7 CFM pump for this large machine, it functioned nearly identically. And I've got the larger vacuum hose for the XL pump. So we're gonna get this going. A little rattly and noisy at first, and then it smooths out. There we go. So, looked like it jumped a little bit and then started going down. It went from 66,000 up to 69, which is normal. There's it's like a shock wave or something, but we'll come back at the 5-minute mark. Okay, so my goal is under 500 mTORs in under 500 or 15 minutes. So under 500 in under 15. Clearly we have exceeded that threshold here. And part of the reason why I really like using these larger pumps. And look, I've got two for sale. Actually, I've got one there and one there, waiting to go out to you if you want it. So we're gonna let this run to 10 minutes and 15 minutes and see what it does. We'll come back. But we've already exceeded the threshold that I had set. Again, I'm always looking for under 500 and under 15 minutes with freeze on and vacuum. All right, so just over 10 minutes, 154 mTORs. Looks like it's stabilized there. Probably not gonna get much lower than that, but that is exactly what we're looking for. A little bit. So we'll come back at the 15-minute mark and then we'll wrap up this video. All right. So this has gone about as far as I wanted to go or need to go for demonstration. So I'm going to end the vacuum side of things. Turn that off. Release the pressure. And open the door. All right, so I'm gonna let this run. So it's been running a half an hour, let it run for 15 minutes, then 15 minutes through the test. I'm gonna let it run for another half an hour with the door open, and we're gonna make sure that the ice rings come all the way forward. And what's gonna happen is we're gonna get ice development throughout the machine, and after about another half an hour, we might even start seeing the ice falling down like snow. So we'll come back to this in about 30 minutes and see what it looks like. So I decided to check it a little bit early just to see what's going on. So we're about 10 minutes early. And you can see, oh, it is snowing. See the little bits of ice falling down. So it is snowing inside. Let's see if we can get this thing to focus. Yep. So the deep cold of the machine is turning the moisture in the air into ice crystals and snow. And it's growing enough there on the top to fall and land down on the drum like snow. So this large is functioning beautifully. We've got ice all the way from the back to the front where the coils are. So we're good. So I'm gonna wrap this video up a little bit early, but you can see we've got good freeze and good vacuum. So this machine is in tip-top shape.